I never wanted to go back home because I'm one of that person who believed like I just got from home to change homes. So people seeing you're from Nairobi, you've come to do the local job and all that. Yeah. I never took it positive. So trying to think on how it's going to work, it never worked. Actually, I remember immediately the lockdown was removed, I just came back to Nairobi. My bag, Nairobi. I brought together youths who want to do something back to the communities. There's nothing which is going to come to you. You seek for it. Like if you just sit down and wait for people to help you, it's not going to happen.
Hello, how are you doing since the last time we saw each other on the show? Well, to our new friends, welcome, and to our returning viewers, thank you so much, and please continue feeling at home. This is Adventures in Business on Influencer TV Kenya, and my name is Joanne Mwaneki. Today we have a special guest whose work is to shape the future of education, climate change, and youth empowerment. Geoffrey Onsombi over here is a passionate high school teacher who has significant impact not only in the classroom but also in the global scale. So this chance we take it to have him introduce himself. Hi Geoffrey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
So I want to first of all say thank you for creating time to be with us today. And I would just like us to dive in your story. And this is the chance that I'm giving you to do an introduction of yourself and tell people about you.
It's an honor. First of all, I'm honored to be here. And I like to talk about myself. My name, as you said, is Onsombi Geoffrey. Onsombi Geoffrey is a high school teacher as well as the founder of Youth Care Africa. So, about myself, maybe to start where I come from Kisii County, but currently I just live in Nairobi. I'm brought up in a family of 5. I'm the second born in that family of 5. And actually my upbringing is one which has seen ups and downs, and maybe right away from home. When I was born, I went to the local primary school and then local secondary school, and then I managed to score a good grade, which now allowed me to relocate back to Nairobi for studies, and then after graduation I stayed up to today. So I'm currently working here in Nairobi as a teacher and as well as leading Youth Care Africa.
So the whole school journey, education journey, was back in your village in Kisii County?
Yes, of course. I have literally been studying back in the village, right away from the primary school and then secondary school.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which university did you attend?
So I attended Karatina University. That's why I started from the year 2014 to somewhere 2019. Yeah.
Which course?
So I did education.
Oh, education.
Arts, yeah.
So how did you end up from Karatina to Nairobi?
So it's through my friends. While we were in Karatina, I had some friends, a few friends who used to be here in Nairobi. And then while studying, we became friends. And then after high school, I never wanted to go back home because I'm one of that person who believed like I just got from home to change home. So I could not just go back there because I needed to find something and maybe a job. And I believe like a good job is found in Nairobi, not back to the village. So I said I'm not going back home. So through my friends, actually I stayed in one of my friends' place until I got something, though it was not easy, because I remember that time when we graduated and the parents came, from home, that excitement, they've come to take you back home. So for me, I never went back. I just told them, it's good you've come. We celebrated there somewhere in Karatina in one of the restaurants. And to their disappointment, I never went back home. So instead I came back. I came now to Nairobi. We came with my friends to Nairobi. We had our celebration here in Nairobi, somewhere in Juja, and that's it. So I started life there. Yeah, that's how I ended up from Karatina to Nairobi.
And did you start teaching immediately?
No. I never started to teach immediately.
Which year did you start the practicing education?
Practicing, teaching. I started 2020
and
after
you graduated?
COVID. 2019.
So from 2019 to 2020, what was happening in your life?
So it was never easy, because I remember the good thing is I had known who I was and I knew what I wanted. So after we relocated to my friend's place, what I did, we just went and looked for a car wash. I remember that. So we worked somewhere in Juja in a car wash for I think 5 months. Yeah, it was like 5 months. And then now I reached
a car wash, unawasha magari.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, tulikuwa tunawasha magari. And then nobody knew. Like we are graduates. Nobody knew. We never told anybody, because the people who we were working with as well, those boys, maybe their level of education sometimes it was not that much higher. So you could not come and tell them, I'm a graduate and this and that. So we did that job, but people started to realize something different in us, maybe I can say. Because I remember even the owner of the car wash, even the way we were behaving was totally different from what the other boys were doing. And she could realize that. And even I remember there's a day she just called me and asked me, are you really, what are your qualifications in terms of education and all that? But I never told her.
Kwa nini lakini?
Just because,
utafutwa kazi?
No. It's because I just wanted to be me and to fit into that job at that time. Yeah, because for me to fit in that job, I had to behave like those people. So I could not be able to tell her what was happening. And so I worked there from April to somewhere in September. So September, I said now, it's not going to be, I'm not going to continue doing this. So I was like, I should look for a school. Because, I was doing this because, again, I had not received my TSC number. Because you cannot go to teach without a TSC number. So even when some of my friends were trying to call and they are asking, what are you up to nowadays and all that. So I was saying, I'm just okay, I'm in Nairobi.
Mi niko tu.
Yeah, niko tu. Nobody knew that I was working in a car wash. But the good thing, we were making some good money. And maybe I can tell you sometimes not to be choosy, because that's what's really affecting most of the youths out here, being choosy. I have a degree, I cannot do this and that. So anyway, to cut the story short, so it reached somewhere in September and the schools opened for term 3. So I said, now I just want to go to class, maybe to start practicing, so that when I get a TSC number, I now get fully into the job which I've started. So I never got a school where I could be employed. So what I did, I decided to go as a volunteer.
So it was like more of doing a teaching practice.
Yes, you know, I had done the first one, and now I decided like, let me just do volunteer work. Yeah. Okay, for me, I was enjoying as well because at that time, I had that, you know, I was not married. I had no family, so it's the small money which you get, you sort yourself. Yeah, you sort yourself out. And you know, in schools, you find most of them they have something like remedial money and all that. So I could go. So I went. Actually, I went to a school and decided like, hey guys, I've come to teach for free, and they just allowed me to do so. So I thought for that term, yeah, the whole of it, I was getting the remedial money, and for me, I took it like a normal job. For me, it was like I was working. So you know, even the principal was like, who is this guy? People don't just come and work. He doesn't look stressed. It's just normal, okay? Yeah, and we closed the school, and then I went back to my car wash.
Allah.
Yeah. So, you know, mostly when term 3, the schools close earlier for exams. So we closed somewhere in end of October. So I went back to my car wash and then worked there November, December. Now, because I had volunteered and I did a good job, the principal decided to connect me to another school because they did not have, you know, a vacancy for the same subjects.
So which subjects were those though?
I was teaching, actually I teach Kiswahili.
Nice.
Yeah, so I teach Kiswahili.
So unaweza kuzungumza Kiswahili sana?
Of course, yeah. And then, yeah. So when the schools opened in January, the principal linked me to another school somewhere in Gilgil. Yeah. So I went to Gilgil, and then I just taught there for, unfortunately, 1 month.
Why?
COVID came.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's now 2020.
Yeah.
COVID comes, and then I remember I am somebody who used to watch international news. So there was a TV at school, and I used to watch. Then guys, you know, there's something we just come somewhere in China, and people are being relocated. Countries are moving their citizens from the country. People are like, you are dreaming. Yeah, what's that? And then I remember that day when the president said, now we've received the first case for COVID.
Yeah, that was 13th of March.
Yes, now everybody, all the schools have been closed indefinitely. We will give further guidance. So, okay, I said, that's good, it's okay. Let's go home. I went back home. I never came to Nairobi because I was like, let's go home for 2 weeks. But for me, my instinct, because I had been watching, I had been following what had been going on, it was over a month. And my mind, I was like, this one, we are not getting back soon. But some of my friends are like, okay, in the next 2 weeks we will be back. Okay, so we went back home. I went back home to Kisii.
Okay.
And to my surprise, now I had other things like lockdown. You are not moving from one place to another. And now I stayed home for another, it was 8 months. Actually, 8 months. Yes.
In Kisii?
Yeah.
What were you doing? Nothing?
Okay, back in Kisii, actually, because we were paid I remember this March salary is the one which we were paid. And then from there, they stopped paying. Now, you know, I remember, I can't remember well how much was the money, but it was somewhere 20,000. Something like that, something of 20,000, 20 to something 21,000. Yeah. So I started baking some mandazis. back home. Yeah, selling to the shops and all that. But the business never worked for me.
For mandazi?
Yeah,
The
it never
mandazi
worked.
business
Actually,
never worked?
yeah, it never worked because,
Okay.
you know, it's something which I'm not used to. And again, people, you know, there's that perception of now people seeing you back home, you know, you've been from Nairobi. Actually, no one knew that I was in Gilgil at that time. People knew I was in Nairobi. So people seeing you're from Nairobi, you've come to
Kuuza
do
mandazi.
the local job and all that.
Yes.
I never took it positive. So I decided to just leave it and now stay. So I just stayed at that time, but it was kind of stressful for me because things never went well. Yeah, you know, now waking up every day, you have nothing to do back home, and yeah, it was so sad. And you know, now you are all of you from your family, you are all of you are back home. Nobody's providing for another. You've gone back to asking, you know, your mother, can you assist me with 50 bob and all that. So it never went well with me. And that one made me to, you know, actually I remember immediately the lockdown was removed, I just came back to Nairobi. Nobody knew that I was coming. I remember my mother calling me, you know. So I wake up like the lockdown was removed like today. Tomorrow, my bag, Nairobi. So my mother called the next day asking where I am because I used to spend some time maybe sometimes with my cousins. So she was asking, today you are not coming, those cousins, where do you go? I told her I'm in Nairobi. What? Nairobi, doing what? Yes, you know, now the mother is kind of, what have you gone to do,
Yes.
in Nairobi? And we are at the
COVID.
center of COVID and all that. So I told her I'm good. And then the next day, the father called. I told her I'm good. Yeah, and that's how now I started. And again, even when my journey from home, my mind was I'm going back to my car wash. So I went back to the car wash 3 times.
3 times?
Yes, 3 times actually. Not giving up, nobody knows. It was only myself and my friend who knew that we do that work. So fortunately my friend happened to secure a certain job somewhere in Thika, and you know, for me there was no vacancy, but I just accepted because, you know, he was hosting me.
Okay.
Yeah, at his place. So for me, everybody wakes up, he goes to his job, I go to my job. So I went to the car wash 3 times.
So, well, your background is a bit heavy.
Yeah.
Mpaka mahali COVID ilitokea. So when you came back to Nairobi and went back to the car wash, after how long did you start teaching again?
So at the car wash now, this is where my volunteer job again comes in. Because, you know, those people, when I worked there, I established a very good relationship with them.
Yeah.
And now, you know, after COVID, many people didn't get back to their jobs. And the madam who was teaching the subjects which I teach at that time, we used now to co-teach because she was the one who was employed, went for maternity, and she never returned back. Now they called me now formally to go and now teach. Now I went back to the school where I had initially volunteered.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah. So now, like, moving forward to a greater part of the career, which is one for the climate change, you being the advisory board member of the Climate International Solution, or is it?
It's a Climate Solution International. Okay,
International.
those ones now came late actually, because I remember now I taught at that school from 2021, the whole of 2021, and then the whole of 2022. Yeah, 2021, 2022. Yes, I taught at the school for 2 years. But for me, now while there, I was just I was not that comfortable because this is now I can call it my first job, but I just wanted to move forward and find a more stable place and all that. So I started to hunt for another job while in this job.
So how did you end up in the
So I
climate?
ended up actually securing because I wanted to secure the job. I got it because I started to strategize.
And where was that?
Working on a good relationship with the teachers in that other school and all that. And finally, when the chance came, 2023, I got the job there.
Which was?
That's somewhere a school called Komboni School.
Oh, it's another teaching job.
Yeah, it's another teaching job. So another school now which has good terms and all that. So after that, now this is where the whole issue of getting interested to the issues of environment, education, and youth empowerment comes in. Initially, while we were in campus, I was so passionate about those things. Actually, I tried to come up with so many. I had an idea all the way from campus. Even while at the car wash, I had the idea, but I could not actualize the idea because I didn't have money. These ideas need money for it to be implemented.
Yes.
So even during the school where I was, I had volunteered. Now, when I secured a job, the salary was not that good enough for me to implement the idea.
Ideas you had.
So I waited. Actually, I joined the other institution now where I felt comfortable.
Which was?
The current one. Actually, I'm teaching there up to now. I think I took 7 months, and now I said, let me now think of something. So trying to think on how it's going to work, it never worked out. So I saw like this one, I'm going to waste money. I was kind of like sort of ideas now, like zimeisha. So I said, okay,
ideas.
let me just leave these things and teach.
Okay.
Surprising, one day I was teaching class and then I remember it was Form 2 and I told students, as good ambassadors, we should take care of the environment, we should protect the environment. And one student asked, how? Oh. So, I was like, okay, how? We can plant trees and all that, but teacher, we've never planted. Yeah, that's not where the idea came from. And then, okay, I told them, now, I think we should plant trees. So they told me, can we plan for it here in school? I told them, okay. So now the idea comes, we should plant trees. And then now I made the arrangements. I went and bought some of the seedlings from the nearby place and then brought them to school. And the whole class joined in that exercise of planting trees. And I saw, they were happy and all that. And I was like, this one is a good idea. And now they said we should even plant more, not only at school, we should even look for neighbors and maybe other neighboring schools and do the same. Okay, and then I reached out because now I had known some teachers, with teachers, there's a way you meet, and then so I told them, I asked one of the teachers, can we come to your school and plant trees with my environment club? They said, yes, of course you can. We team up with our environment club and do the exercise. Again, we went to the other school and did the same. And again, the excitement, hey, this thing is now working. Again, we went to another school, 3 schools now. And then I said, okay, this is it. I've gotten now the idea.
So that's where it came
that's
from.
how now the whole idea of environment and conservation comes in. So I started now like to go even to other schools, because now I had to sit down and do some kind of research on environment conservation, issues to do with climate change and all that, to gain more knowledge on the same. Yeah, and now I started to go to other schools, those ones who are new teachers, so I could go and then educate the students about climate change, how it's affecting them, why they need to participate in combating climate change, how they can combat it and all that. So I saw this one as an empowerment idea. I started to make it like the events to be, nice and all that. We take very good pictures and post, and even some of the parents are like, hey, teacher, you go with my son and all that. So that's how now I changed. I reached at a point now, I changed it from a club. And for me to change it from a club, it was the idea of a student, a Form 4 student. Because I remember she came to me and, she told me, now teacher, we are going to finish school. Now I don't want to be called a student again. We want to do something. I want to continue, but not as a student.
Yeah.
How can I do that? So, I had now to think, this is a student whom I've inspired to continue with what we are doing outside, even when she's outside the school and all that. And even again, I received some other ideas from other students. There are those ones who are like, most of the girls, they are like, how about us who don't want to plant trees, but we want to be part of whatever which you are doing? Now, it was a kind of thinking, how do I
they
bring
have to come in
and all that on board. And they were like, we can do something different for us on the same platform, but something different. So I thought, and then it took me like 5 months thinking about the same thing. That's how now youth care comes in.
Yes,
So-
but I want us, before we go to youth care now, because I know that is what you have founded,
Yeah.
I wanted us to discuss about the climate change thing, like you being the advisory board member of that international company, and then we move down to you being the country representative of Rags to Riches, so that now after we do a short break, we come back to the youth care.
Okay.
Yes.
So all these things have come after youth care.
Oh, they have come after youth care.
Yes, all of them have come after youth care now, because I told you about some of the girls saying we want to do something different.
Yes.
So that's why now, after thinking, I gave them a platform and said, okay, I asked them, what can you do? They said, we can help other girls with sanitary pads and all that.
So far, so good. And definitely from his story, from where we are right now, it's clear. We can tell that every good thing definitely takes time. So for now, just allow us to go for a short commercial break. We do our Jesus and then come back.
Influenza Tech Solutions is your professional digital partner in providing online solutions, from developing innovative websites, tailor-made mobile applications, to creating out-of-the-box identity, branding, e-marketing, SEO, copywriting, and hosting services. At Influenza Tech Solutions, we are driven by creativity, passion, and technology. We specialize in crafting dynamic websites, strategic digital marketing, and powerful media content that elevate brands and engage audiences. Our mission is to create a unique digital experience that tells your story and helps your business grow. Partner with us and watch as your brand transforms into a digital powerhouse. Welcome to Influenza TV Kenya, your gateway to business transformation, dive into inspiring stories from influential leaders as they share challenges, innovative solutions, and strategies for success. Whether you're an entrepreneur, corporate leader, or professional, this is your hub for actionable insights and growth. Prime House Interiors, a leading interior and exterior design company in Kenya. For over a decade, we have been transforming commercial and residential spaces with our captivating and functional designs. At Prime House Interiors, we believe in the power of personalized, high-quality service. Our mission is to build strong relationships with our clients, turning their visions into reality with meticulous attention to detail and innovative solutions.
Thank you so much, and right now let's just get back to it. We are still diving into the story of Geoffrey Onsombi because we want to get something that will help you out there from the story that he's giving. Let's do it. So now, Geoffrey, coming to youth care after umetoa the environment club in school and you've taken it outside, and now the girl childs wanauliza where they're coming in board, and that is exactly how youth care began.
Yeah.
So just tell us, brief us, something short about that.
Okay, now after they asked about the same, so I decided like to think of something which will be accommodative, and that's how youth care came in.
Okay.
So I founded Youth Care Africa, and now because okay, I thought of something which now maybe for in future we can be big, like can work even in the whole of Africa. So we called it Youth Care Africa, and now we started to think on how we can expand even our programs, what we can do more and all that, and so I started to reach out to some of the organizations which were working. Actually, I just went for fact finding to some of the events for supporting girl child and all that, because you know this was a totally new space for me, being that I had not known anything to do with girl child empowerment and all that. So I went for fact finding to some of the organizations, even went to the events several times and all that, and we knew now how to do it. That's why now I started to meet some new partners, telling them, you know, we have the same program and all that, how can we partner and work. So our first ever partnership, we did it with the PAD movement. The PAD movement, I went to the event somewhere in Kangemi. And then, you know, the event was so well, and after that we talked to the founder, and then she, you know, she was so happy about the project which we were about to start, and then she supported us actually, and so we did our first ever event, the same place in Kangemi, with the help of the PAD movement. And then from there, the PAD movement, that lady was from Dubai, was not from Kenya. So she had just come to do some 1-2 events here in Kenya. So we did that. After that, now we started to do our own events with the local partners, organizations, you know, and all that. And even the girl empowerment through sanitary pads and SRHR education became most integral part of Youth Care Africa. It even at a point, I remember we did so many events to do with girl child empowerment, more than even the original idea, which was environment and climate change. But now, after 1 year, I think I said now, you know, I should now look for a way that we can have that balance between what we are doing and even the vision which we have. So I had to sit down, work on now legalizing the organization, registration, have a clear vision, mission, objectives, and even choose the thematic areas, because we could not do everything. Yeah, so when it is through that process now, after founding Youth Care Africa, is when I've worked with so many other organizations, and even some not from Kenya, like the Rags to Riches organization. They are from Dubai. I've worked with them in number of, like, 2 projects now. The PAD movement, working with them in girl empowerment, and then Climate Solution International, working with them in terms of climate change and all that, you know. It's through Youth Care now, after all that work that we've done, because people follow us through our social media pages and they see what we do. So that's how they approached us, and then because they are international, they are not from Kenya, they need people here, maybe who understands much better the country. So we've been able to work with them through Youth Care Africa. Okay. So that's how, again, now, I think last year, as I was saying, we chose a clear path of everything. So we are duly registered, fully registered, I mean, as an organization. And then we have now clear areas where we are focusing on. And so far we work on environment and climate change, education and skills development. We are working on the good health and well-being of youths. And then the side of youth leadership training and empowerment. Those are the 4 areas that we now fully work on as an organization. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you balance with all those the organizations that you work for, like that one for Dubai? On this other side, you are an educator. Like, you're doing so many things at the same time. How do you manage to balance them all? The
good thing with what we do, some projects are not it's not something which is every day. Like, if we are planning for an event, it's even 3 months for you to plan. So you see, from now to the next 3 months, I'll be doing my own things, my own work. The events normally happen in 1 day. Okay. So I'm able to do my work as well as planning for the other things. But now it's becoming kind of hectic for me, more so because I can say we are experiencing some growth as Youth Care Africa because of the more programs which we brought in, like, which now needs me sometimes to be, I'm needed somewhere, I'm supposed to go to a certain office, maybe to talk to somebody on a partnership, and I'm supposed to be at work, and maybe if I'm not going there, sometimes it becomes hard for things to run normally. So I have to sacrifice some few days or maybe some hours to rush and do one, two, and then come back to work and all that. But again, the space where I am, education, is not that, limiting, because right now we are out for 2 months. So I'm able to do my things freely. Once we start January, everything is planned and all that.
And what are some of the challenges that you face while dealing with Youth Care Africa in general?
Challenges are there, and anything which is starting, or if anyone you are starting a business, you must have to experience the challenges. More so when it comes to inception stage, and we've really faced issues to do with financial, challenges, because some of the programs which we do require finances, but now that kind of finances, has digging down into our pockets for us to get some money for us to do some of these programs. It becomes a very big challenge for us. And actually that's the main challenge, because for organizations it's all about funding. If you don't receive funding, it becomes so hard. But at Youth Care we are well organized, I can say. because I decided not to work alone. So youth care is a group of youths. Like now, we say we decided to make youth agents of change. So we look, I brought together youths who want to do something back to the communities. And again, I told them this is the plan. Let's limit ourselves to these specific thematic areas, and let's do events and programs and initiatives which are aligned to these thematic areas. So we are doing our programs. We fund, for now I can say we fund ourselves, like it's from our pocket, because if we plan an event, we agree on how much we are going to make to contribute and then do such kind of event. So for now we are dependent, but in future we are trying to work and see if we can get people who can come and support us as an organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you talked about the things that you're focusing on as Youth Care Africa.
Yeah.
And I am really interested to know what kind of activities you people do when it comes to ensuring the wellness, especially the mental wellness of young people, because that was one of the points.
Oh, okay, yeah. For us to promote wellness, the way we promote wellness in our organization, we have we have the mentorship programs. So we go to schools, mostly high schools, because we want to maintain the youths. You know, in a high school now, those guys are becoming youths. Now we go to high schools, and we are working with some of the universities in Kenya right now, where we do mentorship programs. And again, we have a safe space known as the Youth Voices, where youth can share their issues freely, no judgment and all that. So it's not only issues to do with mental wellness. We have so many other, because we have sexual reproductive health education inside, which is affecting so many youths. Don't have that they don't get comprehensive education on SRHR. We have issues to do with gender balance, gender equality, and all that. So we have the safe space, which we call the Youth Voices, where youth amplify their voices to talk about what challenges they are facing, and we look for experts in most of our events to help them sort out their issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
So allow me to ask, which is one of the lessons, or rather a principle that you live by, both professionally and in personal life, a lesson that keeps you moving?
I can say discipline, because if you are not disciplined, you cannot succeed. That one, that's what I can clearly say, because for me, like for example, right now I lead a group of youth, actually very many of them, right away from school. Let's even start from there. Being a teacher is not easy, because you deal with so many people and different characters at the same time.
Yeah.
So more so when again an institution which has a girl child, more so when you are a youth teacher and all that. So if you are not disciplined, it can ruin your profession, number one, and even your life now, because if your profession is ruined, it means your life it comes to an end. Even not only at school, but even to Youth Care Africa. So having that discipline and knowing your boundaries, staying professional, because we have both female, male there. So you have to know how to balance between professionalism and now the normal friendship and even the normal working relationship as well. So discipline is very key in whatever which you do.
Okay, and what is that one thing that your students, or rather your friends or people around you, even at work, do not know about you?
I don't think whether there's something which they don't know about me. What can I say? Okay, maybe I'm a go-getter, and yeah, I think so. People maybe don't know that I'm a go-getter. For me, all these things which I've done, I've done them without the help of anybody. You know, there's this perception like you must have somebody to help you do something and all that. But for me, right away from, you know, jobs, getting a job, and, you know, even running Youth Care Africa, growing it, linking up with different organizations and even the right people, is something which I've planned. Like I say, by the end of this year, this is what we want to achieve, and I make sure whatever it takes, failures, what, I'll be there. So being that, having that drive to see things happen, maybe is something which people don't know about me. I think that's what I can say.
Okay, and now because we are winding up on our conversation,
Yeah.
I would want you to look directly to that camera and talk to someone. Maybe there could be someone who has been wanting or has the idea to start an organization, just like you, and venture in something.
Okay.
Could be different, or rather could be just like what you do, but they feel that like they're just stuck somewhere. So there is something that you can definitely tell them that can do something to their lives today.
Okay, what I can say, most of the youths, is that there's nothing which is going to come to you. You seek for it. Like, if you just sit down and wait for people to help you, it's not going to happen. Now, what you are supposed to do is wake up, despite the challenges which you will face, because there's no day that you can work on something and your life becomes so smooth without passing through different challenges and all that. So whatever the challenges that you face in life, just look for a way to maneuver a way to work and go through those challenges. One day you will overcome them, and once you overcome them, stay disciplined, because we've seen so many people who, you know, pass through several challenges, and once they get something coming on their way, within a very short period of time, they just destroy whatever which they've been looking for a very long period of time. So what I can tell the youths is, be focused, and then know what you want. Knowing what you want, again, it helps you to work for achieving something. So be objective, and then work towards your objective. You will achieve whatever which you are looking for. That's maybe what I can say. And maybe those ones who want to start an organization, I can say, yeah, of course, it's not easy. Number one is to do research, to know what areas you could work on and how. The question of how, most people, you know, they take it for granted. But how are you going to work on those things which you have? How are you going to implement them? It becomes a challenge. You start something, but the question of how, you didn't have a plan, and then you fail. So I can tell the youth to think of something, do research, and then think of how they are going to implement that using money or the resources needed, personnel, everything which is needed in that implementation process and all that, and then you get started. And again, don't fear to get started, because they say kuna vile wanasema try and fail, but never fail to try. Yeah, because how if you can try and you become successful?
Yes.
And how if you fail to try and you get like that, whatever that you failed to try is what was going to open ways for you in the future. So just to try something out and see if it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I have really enjoyed having this conversation
Thank
with you.
you, Joanne, for having me.
I definitely hope to see you next time. Probably we can visit your office.
Yeah.
But before I actually wind up, I'd love you to tell people where they can get you, just in case they want to find you for anything or they want to partner with you. Wambie mahali watakupata.
Okay, I think the easiest way is to use social media, so that when you go to our social media page, we are across social media platforms at Youth Care Africa. Yeah, so our contacts are there. You reach out to us on how we can partner together, and then from there, now we can plan even the physical meetings and all that, because the simple way to find us is to reach out to social media platforms. Our numbers are there, everything, email, and then we will be able to link up.
Okay, amazing. And from what I've learned is it just takes one person to make a difference. So are you willing to be that person? Well, that's a question that I'm gonna leave for you today to think about it. But do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel that goes by the name Influencer TV Kenya. Follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Influencer TV Kenya. See you next time, and I hope the story of Geoffrey will definitely do something to your life. Thank you.